Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel and welcome back to Green River. This is episode number 20, no, episode number 19. My apologies, I'm jumping the gun just a little bit. And well, I was actually checking prices this afternoon. Well, not quite this afternoon, I guess it is still morning. It's just before 11 o'clock at this particular point in time. I was checking prices out for what the greatest percentage of income could be for wool pallets at this particular point in time, looking at the season's information here for wool. And I can see that we're at the final stage here before we really take a dip into the summer and fall and winter months. We probably should have sold a few bales here in this time frame, but hey, a day late and a dollar short, but at least we have the common sense to go ahead and get rid of it now. So that's what we're going to do here for at least a portion of this episode, if we don't ruin our trailer in the process, because I forgot to put the tractor in reverse. And yeah, I am sort of cheating a little bit in the simple fact that I've got the auto-loading trailer turned on, and it really helps, because I find that if I can actually get the pallets onto the pallet forks, I find that sometimes I have difficulty in actually getting them off of the pallet forks. And I know that it really is all in the way that you get the pallet forks under the pallet and everything. If you do a little bit better job getting the pallet getting the pallet forks in the pallet in the correct way, it basically comes off a lot easier. But sometimes we don't get that opportunity, or at least I don't get that opportunity, and so, well, we're just going to kind of do it the easy way. I think this is actually, if my memory serves me correctly, this was sort of the way I learned it from Reefy 1952, who claims that he learned it this way from the Bipolar Prophet. And so, hey, it works. And again, it's possibly a little unrealistic, but when you have when you kind of have two left thumbs like I do, when it comes to come on, scoop down on the pallet just a little bit better. When it comes to that, I'm just kind of making do the best I can and kind of make things go a little quicker and a little bit easier for you all to watch, because I would quite think that it is quite a mess to watch me do anything with pallets, moving pallets or moving bells or anything like that. We're going to stop right there, and I'm going to get me a screenshot here before we go any further. That kind of tells the story of what we're doing. But anyway, I hope everyone is having a wonderful day on this 5th of June. The days are just ticking on by, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to tell you what is so special about an episode that's going to air next week. I haven't recorded it yet, but I am just going to tell you that there is a little bit of a special episode that is going to take place. Actually, it's going to appear on the channel next Monday, the 11th of June, and it will actually, unless something happens, it will be episode number 21 of Green River. Again, unless something happens, it will be episode number 21 of Green River. And well, the number 21 doesn't really have any significant value as far as episodes go, but this episode, I assure you, does have some value to it, and I'm quite pleased and quite pleased to be able to bring it to you. So let me go ahead, and I'm going to run the John Deere skid steer back over to where it lives, because if I don't, you know me, I'm liable to forget actually where I put it. And for whatever reason, that door shut behind us. I must have clicked my mouse earlier when I was driving around here. We had some bales stored here in this barn, and I've already taken those out and put those on the trailer. So basically all the sheep, all the wool pallets, all the wool bales that we have current to date are all on the trailer. And so I think that was about, what, 8? I think maybe 6 or 8 bales of wool. I forget now, but we'll find out here momentarily when we go back over there. And for whatever reason, this thing drives kind of squirrely on this concrete floor. It must detect that it's not 100% level, but not a problem. It's not an issue at all for us anyway. Let's go ahead and shut the door here and make sure it's shut. And yeah, I love those doors. Those are pretty cool. All right, so let's go ahead and just get back over to our other tractor so we can kind of get on with the things that we need to do. Off camera, I have been doing some pig work this morning, feeding the pigs, watering the pigs, all that kind of stuff with the pigs. And let's just go ahead because it is so easy peasy lemon squeezy to do this. I just absolutely love this, folks. I am sorry. I'm going to probably say how much I love this each and every time I use the water feature on any map that I play, and I'm pretty much determined that I'm going to almost always have this on any map that Grizzly Bear Sims plays, at least for Farm Sim 17. Now, you know, we'll have to kind of brace ourselves because we're kind of in that same time frame that we were in back in the late days of Farm Sim 15 before 17 came out, and kind of speculating, well, I wonder how long it'll be before we actually get mods for Farm Sim 17, as was the case with 15. And it just takes as long as it takes, and I don't really know what the answer is, but I do know that there are, and I won't say who they are because I don't want to, this is just kind of secondhand, I suppose, information, but I do know from what I think are fairly reliable sources that people are already working on mods for Farm Sim 19. Now, I don't really know how they're doing it. I don't understand the modding process enough to really be able to say with any sort of educated information that says that that they're able to do that now when the game's not even out yet. I'm assuming that these people have been able to get enough information from Giants to be able to essentially create mods for Farm Sim 19. I'm assuming that there's going to be, hopefully there's going to be a fairly significant difference between Farm Sim 17 and 19. We certainly hope that that is the case. That's something that we've often talked about here on this channel, and of course I think that most of my users think a lot like I do. I guess that's why you enjoy the channel as much as I enjoy creating the videos, is we kind of think along the same lines about stuff, and I'm sort of guessing that you all are also hoping that there's some fairly significant differences, and we've spent some time talking about that in the past, and well, I'm not going to re-whip that dead horse, right? At least not right now. I think that as we get on into the summer months, not the summer months on this map, but the summer months here in the northern hemisphere, and as more information comes available from Giants, we can certainly speculate and what all these changes are going to mean, and what all the information that's coming out from Giants is going to mean. Hopefully we will start getting a lot of good information in the coming weeks and months as they pass along. And as I sort of mentioned in the last episode, each day that goes by, each week that goes by, each month that goes by, we're just getting that much closer to the release of Farm Sim 19, and I couldn't be any more excited for that, and will certainly be prepared for that particular moment in time, just as I was between Farm Sim 15 and Farm Sim 17. So it's all going to be good, that is for sure. All right, so I've already got my screenshot, so I don't necessarily have to worry about that tractor. We are going to go ahead and sell our wool here. This is the best sell price that I have found, is here at this little facility. And so let's just go ahead, and I think we can do it this way. If not, then we'll have to go to plan B, but I think that we can do that here. Let's see how we would go about doing that. We're probably going to have to do work mode off, I would assume, and always forget to do this. Why? Here we go. Are they selling yet? Yep, they are. All right, cool beans, cool beans. All right, so just in case you want to know, this will also take wool. Yeah, and I think let's look at it in the list here. I think it's called Sill Point 150%. Now, I don't know if that is a markup or not. You know, looking at other things, $45 for I guess that is slurry possibly versus 41 versus 30. Yeah, there is quite a difference here between these two, but you know, hey, we're going to take the money any way that we can get it. As I get a nice sip of cold iced tea. And let's see what our grand total was. $79,725 in wool. Not too bad, not too bad at all. You know, sheep are probably a good money maker. Certainly, in my opinion, they are. Of course, we just realized how much of a money maker pigs certainly are not, unless you have a whole mess of them, and we don't really have that many to think for us to really be that profitable. I don't think. We would probably be a lot better off if we had a couple of hundred pigs, and you know, maybe we will reinvest some of our money. Maybe that would be a good thing to do, is sink more of our money, more of our cash right now into the pigs, because I suppose one thing that we need to maybe look at in reference to our money and everything is, you know, the fact is we're playing this map, or I'm playing this map, pretty much with the sole purpose of growing these crops and everything for the benefit of the animals. The cows, obviously, the grass, and hay and silage and everything that we're getting from the grass and from the hay and the straw and everything is obviously going towards our dairy. And of course, we get paid on our dairy on a regular basis, and that's kind of a year-round kind of thing. Our pigs, obviously, we've planted the sugar beets and the wheat to making the pig food. And of course, I don't really think we're going to get a whole, you know, rich, especially if at selling 13 pigs, you know, each time. So that's probably not a huge thing. And then obviously the sheep and everything. Of course, the sheep are the easiest to kind of maintain because they really only require hay and water. And we've obviously will have an abundance of that as we begin to start cutting our grass fields for the second time, as we kind of go around the map and get all that kind of work done. And of course, we've got our other industries and stuff. We've got the canola that we've grown for the biodiesel plant to primarily run the compost facility, but of course also we've been bringing fuel back from the biodiesel facility to run our farm equipment, and we'll continue to obviously do that because that is obviously helpful when it comes time to settle out all the accounts and everything. If we can certainly pinch a few pennies here and there by essentially not having to pay for fuel, at least not directly, then that is going to be a good thing for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and put our little trailer back away. And just to remind everybody, I've got a lot of new folks that have subscribed to the channel, and some new folks that have made their way over to the Discord server. So welcome. I appreciate you guys subscribing, and I appreciate you guys heading over to the Discord server and joining in on the fun over there. I really, really do appreciate it. If you have questions about the map, about the gameplay, about the mods, or anything like that, certainly leave your comments down below the video, and or come over to Discord and ask your questions over there on the Grizzly Bear Sims Discord server. And you know, if you don't get a response directly from me, there's a whole lot of other knowledgeable people that are over there that will certainly help you out and help get you the information that you will obviously need to be able to have fun on your map, just like I'm having fun on my map. Now, one thing that I do try to do is I try to avoid doing just that, teleporting around the map and everything. I try to play a little bit more realistic than that, but let's see, what do we need to do here? Let's just kill that. Actually, let's do that and do that. Okay. But I kind of thought that we'd come over here and grab a hold of this rig instead of either me walking over here or and driving another vehicle, because obviously we're going to need to bring this guy back over soon, because we're down to our last 1,294 liters of liquid fertilizer. But I kind of thought what we would do is, while we're here in the vicinity, we would just go ahead and do this field here together. This is our sugar beet field, and I've pretty much did this field, I think, on camera for all parts of it. I think I plowed it, fertilized it the first, and then cultivated, and then obviously we planted it and in sugar beets. So I kind of thought, well, we'll finish out the next 10 or 15 minutes that we have of our time here together for this particular episode by going ahead and spraying this. And I don't know if I have sprayed anything yet with this rig. I must admit that I do like the self-propelled rigs, I think, a little bit better than this combination. But hey, when you're kind of working on a budget and you're kind of course, if I was really working on a budget, I would make sure that I was making this spray count, because we certainly don't need to fertilize that grass out there. But anyway, you get the point. That when we're working on a budget, kind of like we have been doing with this particular series, we wanted to kind of get away from some of the everyday type of equipment that I typically use on the larger maps and go with smaller, less expensive stuff. And so that's why we're in the Coon. But also, you know, this is part of that DLC pack that's been out for quite some time. I think the Coon DLC pack came out fairly early on, maybe like a year and maybe a month or so ago. I vaguely remember that we were actually still playing the Lawfolds map when the Coon pack came out, when the Coon DLC pack came out. So, and my gosh, Lawfolds, that's a blast from the past, right? I know that my friends DC and Chris will certainly agree. I think they've both played the heck out of that map just like I did. And they may still be playing it, actually. I know that at one time, when I had mentioned it to both of them, I think at that particular point in time, they were still playing the map, and of course playing a few others as well. And so that's all good stuff. It was certainly a remarkable map, and one that I will probably always have fond memories of. And who knows, maybe if it comes out for Farm Sim 19, I might be so inclined to actually give it another whirl. So I'm not sure if we're going to have enough liquid fertilizer to finish this field out. We've cut about half of our supply down, I guess. I think that we must be on the smaller tank for sure, the front-mounted tank. So yeah, we've managed to do 2 fields with the 2 sunflower fields with a full setup, full tank, and so we're down to our last, looks like our last 50% or so. So I don't reckon that we'll get through, but we might go over and see if they sell liquid fertilizer over at the garden center. I can't remember if they have it over there or not, but if they do, we may go over there and get some, because it'll only be a little bit more than what we typically pay for it. Obviously, we have the ability to buy it in bulk, but I really don't think at the end of the day, I'm really not sure if we really truly get that big of a benefit. I'm not sure how the map is set up. If we're getting a major benefit from it, we should. That should be how things are factored in. I would kind of hope so, because I'm sure that if we're buying it at our farm, of course, we pay for it at the time that we fill our equipment up. But still, I would think that the price would be a little bit different, or at least I would hope that it could be or would be, because I think that would be a little bit more fitting with the whole immersion and all that kind of stuff. But I really don't know. I don't have the answers to those questions as we kind of haphazardly back through our sugar beets here. And of course, we do have and I'm really looking forward to using this, by the way, because I have yet to use it and that is the Ropa, the big Ropa sugar beet harvester. We do own that. That was on the map that was on the map when I started it. I obviously placed it here. We started with all the equipment that we would pretty much need, but we do have that, and so that will be the first of the Ropa DLC that I will have used here on this map, and so that is awfully cool. Looking forward to it. I think that's the only piece that we have is just the sugar beet harvester. I didn't get the other apparatus that will allow us to pick the sugar beets up if we were to pile them on the side of the field. I sort of figured that we're only going to do this one field in sugar beets, and hopefully this will be enough to handle our pig food needs for the rest of this year and any other amount of time that we choose to play this map. So hopefully that will be the case. If not, then we'll just be up a creek without a paddle, I suppose, but we'll have to just see how that goes. I would suspect, although I'm not 100% sure, that officially from Giants, I would suspect that the Ropa DLC will probably be the last DLC that we will see released for Farm Sim 17. I would think that they are, that they've got to be pretty much heads down at this particular point in time, all hands on deck, kind of approach to making sure that Farm Sim 19 is looking good. I would suspect that if it's not already, perhaps maybe some elements of Farm Sim 19 is already in testing and all that kind of stuff, but I would hope that in time, in the next couple of months, maybe by mid to late summer time frame, that it will be in the hands of the testing kind of team. I don't know what sort of amount of testing that Giants puts through the games through their paces and everything, but I would assume that they're similar to what other companies, other software developers typically do, and that is, turn it loose to the testers that have, they've got folks that they can trust, that they can tell them, look, this doesn't go anywhere, and any information, anything potentially bad you might find or whatever, you keep it under your hat. You don't release any videos or any pictures or stuff like that. I would suspect that they have those kind of relationships with those type of people. At least I hope that they do, because that's obviously going to be beneficial to us. But I would hope that maybe by maybe late midsummer or late summer we would be at that particular point in time. But I really don't know. I don't understand how Giants necessarily does their stuff. So with 101 liters left, 6%, I know for sure we're not going to get that done. So let's go ahead and see if we can get more liquid fertilizer over at the garden center. Hopefully we can. That'll save us a little bit from having to go all the way back to the main farm, or having to call Billy Bob or Jack over here with the supply. Plus we really don't have the ability. We didn't do that with this map. We did on Tazwell. We've got the little trailer that we can refill our seeds and our fertilizer and stuff from. We don't have that here, but not to worry. I think that they will probably sell it right over here at the garden center. And we'll take back a little bit of that money that we gave them. Now let's see, I'm guessing that this is pretty much going to be solid, those bags. I would expect that, since that is pretty much solid fertilizer. But let's see if we've got anything back around over here. I know, pretty sure I filled up the solid fertilizer over here once. Those, I would expect those to be solid and not liquid. I don't see any tanks. That's kind of the deal. That's what I would be looking for, would be some tanks of fertilizer. We will just kind of stick our front tank over here and see if maybe this is it. And it's not. And I'm sure you guys are all screaming at me saying, well, Jerry, you're being silly because you know that those are solid fertilizer bags. And yes, I do know that. But you never know how someone sets up triggers and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I was looking at, was maybe whether or not one of those was set up as a trigger for liquid fertilizer. So not a big deal. We'll just head over to the main farm, and I will probably just start wrapping things up and go ahead and let you get on with your day. And I will then fill up the liquid fertilizer and head back over and get those other 2 remaining strips, probably about 1 up and 1 down, should probably do it, I would think. And then I don't know what we'll do next, if we'll come back for this same game day, or if I will work the rest of this game day off camera and then come over, and then we'll start with the second game day of summer for episode number 20. I don't know. Maybe that will be a game time decision for me. Maybe I'll make that decision whenever I sit down to actually record episode 20, which is often what I do. But I do try to keep the number of episodes per game day down to around 2, no more than 3, and it kind of depends on what's going on. I think kind of early on, I know a couple of those episodes, some of those were 2 and 3 episodes per game day, just because we had a lot going on. I think as we start to get around the harvest time, there might be call to do a game day with up to 3 episodes in it, perhaps. Because as you can tell, running at 5x speed, we can still, at 30 minutes of real live time, my time, it still only progresses the day by a few hours. And so unlike when you're playing at 15x speed, you can pretty much get through a full game day, especially in the long days of summer. It takes you about an hour and 20 minutes, something like that, to get from, say, sun up to around 8 o'clock or so, where you can then skip the night. Of course, we know all that because we've spent some time doing that kind of stuff with the challenge and stuff like that we did not too long ago. So yeah, this is our liquid fertilizer. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for watching not only this episode, but all of my episodes. And also a very, very special thank you to D. Coleman, D. Smith, and E. Gell. Those are our 3 Patreon supporters, if you will. If you're interested in supporting the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, you can go to Patreon. You can use the link down below to head over there and become a Patreon sponsor as well. I would really appreciate it. Essentially, what it's going to do is 90% of everything that I bring in between Patreon as well as the YouTube advertising stuff, because I appreciate you guys watching the ads. All of that, 90% of that is going to be used to go back into the channel in the form of giveaways. And of course, we will be giving away copies of Farm Sim 19. That's probably going to be the giveaway that we're going to do. So not necessarily immediate results on that, so you may have to wait a few months before we start seeing that come to fruition, obviously, because right now Farm Sim 19 is not available for purchase. But I think that's what the giveaway is going to be from the channel. And then 10% of it all kind of goes back in to cover my expenses, or at least cover a portion of my expenses, in the form of my internet access and, game upgrades and, PCs blowing up and all that kind of stuff. And anyway, so thank you so much for those 3 individuals. And if you're interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, I would really appreciate you would have the utmost appreciation from my part in that. So I do appreciate that, and I appreciate everyone that's watching. If you're watching and you're not a subscriber of the channel, please click that subscribe button. It really does mean a lot. It really helps to motivate me. Also, if you like the content that you see, please give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate that as well. And if you also are a subscriber, click that little bell icon, and that'll help make sure that you get the notifications of when I'm putting episodes out. But right now, for the next couple of weeks, you can expect episodes Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. That'll be 3 episodes of Farm Sim 17 and 1 episode alternating between ETS2 and ATS, for now anyways. Well, folks, for now, I'm going to say again, thank you for watching, and I'm also going to say I appreciate you watching and being my friend. It means so much to me, and I will catch you all right here on the next episode of Green River. Take care of yourself and also of each other. God bless you all. Bye-bye.